I always believed I truly knew Emily. She had been my wife for 8 years, and during that time, I'd watched her laugh, tease, and light up every room she entered. People called her magnetic, but to me, she was mine, ours. I never worried about how others saw her, or how her smile could captivate a crowd, or how coworkers might linger just a moment too long. That confidence, I admired it, loved it. It was the annual company gala, and for once, I was genuinely looking forward to it. I usually preferred quiet dinners or movie nights at home, but Emily insisted. She wore a deep emerald gown, the kind that made her look both elegant and playful simultaneously. I held her hand as we stepped inside, my chest tight with pride and nerves. The music was lively, almost intoxicating. Couples twirled on the dance floor, laughter floating above the crowd, carefree and easy. Emily tugged me toward the middle, teasing me for standing stiffly on the sidelines. I laughed, letting her lead, and for a brief moment, nothing else existed. Then it happened. A tall man in a sharp suit approached her, someone I recognized vaguely, a project manager named Spencer. I'd seen him around the office, but never interacted much. He smiled at Emily, complimented her dress, and a tiny flicker of unease tickled the back of my mind. He offered his hand, and before I could respond, Emily hesitated, then smiled politely and stepped toward him, just for a heartbeat. It was innocent, I told myself. A public dance at a company event. But then I noticed another colleague, a younger man named Ryan, tall, lean, and wearing a confident, rehearsed smile. He leaned casually toward Emily and whispered something. I couldn't hear the words, but I saw her laugh, not the easy, warm laugh she reserved for me, but a startled, playful one, the kind that hints at sudden adrenaline. His hand brushed against hers, tentative, inviting. "If you're free, take me," he said. My stomach twisted, disbelief and panic knotting tight. My Emily, my wife. Her eyes widened, recognition flashing, and she stumbled back, like she just remembered something urgent. Her smile faltered, and she grabbed my arm. "Come on, let's sit for a second," she murmured, her voice slightly higher than usual, real panic. I guided her to a corner near the refreshments, doing my best to hide the knot tightening in my chest. "Everything okay?" I asked casually, though my voice probably betrayed me. She shook her head, took a deep breath, and laughed nervously, brushing it off like nothing happened. But I saw it. Her hand trembled ever so slightly as she lifted a glass of water. Silence stretched between us, and I couldn't stop thinking about all the times I had trusted her, from mundane moments like grocery trips to profound ones like moving into our first home. And now, in this fluorescent-lit ballroom, music pounding in the background, I realized trust could feel fragile. Fragile and startling. Emily's gaze flicked toward Spencer and Ryan across the room. They laughed together, leaning close, and for a second, that old, familiar fear crept in. The fear of losing her, not because she wanted to leave me, but because she craved attention, recognition, or a spark I might have failed to notice. I wasn't expecting that, she started, her voice trailing. Her fingers twisted nervously. I felt it. The tension, the subtle hesitation, the way she instinctively reached for my hand, even as she pulled away from theirs. Confusion collided with propriety. I didn't speak immediately. I let her gather herself, letting music and chatter fill the gaps. Then quietly I asked, "Do you want to talk about it?" Her eyes met mine. For a moment, there was only honesty, fear, maybe guilt, but also relief that I hadn't reacted harshly. I panicked, she admitted. That word stuck. Not lust, not desire, just a raw, human reaction to the unexpected. Still, seeing her hesitate even for a heartbeat stirred something inside me. Not anger, not betrayal, yet an acute awareness of fragility in what I believed unshakable. My marriage, my trust, it was all there but delicate. I realized then that tonight wasn't just a gala. It was a mirror, a reflection of how quickly moments can shift, how appearances deceive, and how even strong bonds can tremble under small, unforeseen choices. I felt the music fade, replaced by the rapid thump of my heartbeat. Emily's confession hung between us, fragile as glass teetering on a table. I squeezed her hand gently. She looked at me, weighing whether I would judge her or understand. I didn't know how to react, she whispered. He's always been so confident. I panicked. I nodded. Panic. That was all. Not betrayal, not flirting. Just a brief lapse. But even a tiny surprise can shake the ground beneath your feet. Across the room, Spencer chatted obliviously. Ryan laughed effortlessly, unaware of the moment they had just sparked. And in that contrast, clarity emerged inside me. Not jealousy, not insecurity, clarity. I leaned closer. Hey, I said softly, whatever happens, we face it together. You and me, always. Her eyes glistened, a faint sheen catching the light. She nodded, hand tightening around mine. Right, she murmured, relief, gratitude, and a hint of fear intertwined. We stayed like that for a few minutes, letting the world spin around us while we existed in our own bubble. Then Emily exhaled and laughed, the real Emily laugh, and said, I think I need a second to breathe. I didn't question it. I watched her weave through the crowd, past Spencer and Ryan, past tables of appetizers and glasses of champagne, to a quiet corner near the exit. She leaned against the wall, forehead resting for a moment, taking shaky, deep breaths. It hit me then. This wasn't about the dance or Spencer or Ryan. It was about us, about trust, about the invisible threads that bind people, and the moments when those threads tremble so slightly that you wonder if they'll hold. I walked over, stood beside her, not touching her, just present. Emily, I said quietly, it's okay to panic. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Her shoulders relaxed slightly. I hate that I let it scare me, she admitted. I hated that for a second I didn't think of us. You did think of us, I replied. That's why you came here. That's why you didn't just laugh it off. You remembered where your heart belongs. We sat in silence for several minutes, letting the music and chatter flow around us. I realized then that clarity wasn't about perfection or avoiding mistakes. It was about awareness, acknowledgement, and choosing each other every time, even when fear tried to pull you away. Finally, Emily turned to me, eyes soft but steady. I'm sorry for panicking, she said. I know I startled you. I smiled, small and knowing. You startled me because I care. But more importantly, you reminded me that I care too. Enough to notice, to pause, to protect what we have. She reached for my hand again, this time steady, confident. I needed you to notice, she admitted. And I did. In that quiet exchange, I realized something profound. Love isn't flawless. It isn't smooth. It isn't immune to fear, panic, or uncertainty. But love is resilient in the small ways. In holding a hand, listening instead of judging, choosing understanding over anger. By the gala's end, I wasn't just relieved. I was grateful that we had navigated a minor storm without breaking, without regret, without words that could wound. Grateful that the threads of trust, though slightly shaken, had not snapped. Stepping outside into the cool night air, I squeezed her hand, let her feel the quiet certainty of what we had just realized. The strongest love isn't one without challenges. It's the one that survives them. Emily looked up at me, a playful smile on her lips. Next time, she teased softly, you dance with me first. I laughed, fully, genuinely, because in that moment, nothing else mattered. Not Spencer, not Ryan, not the panic, not the tension. What mattered was us. And after all the unexpected twists and fragile moments, we were still here, stronger and more aware of the delicate beauty that binds two people through every stumble, panic, and choice.